Hey, Curtis.
Hey, Oz.
What movie do you have for us this week?
This week's movie marriage, we've got Encino Man meets Wally, a whole lot of Office Space, all brought together by Old Spice Body Wash. Was that my left or my right bicep? No, that was my abdominals. This week, we're watching Idiocracy.
I didn't see that coming in the movie marriage at all.
Yep. I will say my original movie marriage was something I think that would be a little more expected, or at least my punchline was more expected. It was going to be the last 10 years of American politics was my original punchline for this.
That's fair.
But I almost thought that was too obvious.
Oh, yeah.
And so I wanted to, I don't know, just do something that was a little more fun. Plus,
I like it.
With Idiocracy, there's been so many comps. Again, as of this recording, we're in September of 2025. And this movie gets a lot of comps with how politics and some aspects of society have been over the last 10 years or so. And I don't know. I think naturally that will probably peek its head during this episode, but I also don't want to dwell on that because this movie's so fun.
Yeah. And it's important to remember that this movie's 19 years old.
It is.
It wasn't built as a satire, of what's right there on our doorstep.
Yeah.
This is what many say, this is a movie ahead of its time.
Mm-hmm.
That is which is often said about sci-fi films, but not necessarily because some said like, oh wow, like cellular devices, that was ahead of its time. Like this is not really the kind of ahead of its time that we were hoping for, but here we are.
Well, again, it was released in 2006, but it was shot probably back in 2004 because they shot it and then it sat on the shelf for over a year. And so, like, this was right in the thick of, just as far as like the political zeitgeist and cultural zeitgeist, this was right in the thick of, second Bush's administration,
right?
Coming off, a couple years removed from 9/11, all the Iraq War, Afghanistan invade, all that. So that's the background that was the white noise that was happening while this movie was being made.
And it's now been cranked to 11 and and that's where we're at. So I think white noise is a very apt term for what's been chosen there.
That was not intentional, but possibly subconscious.
So well, welcome back, listeners, viewers, to another episode of Let's Talk About Flicks, the podcast where we take a monthly theme as we're wrapping up Insulting Titles Month this week. I'm one of your hosts, Oz.
I am the other host, Curtis.
And before we get rolling too far, we want to give a shout out to our favorite time travelers, Patreon subscribers Don S., Aaron A., Mandy K., Melissa L., Colleen K., and Lyle M. Thank you one and all for your continued patronage.
To our favorite Cleavons.
To our favorite burrito, Beef Supremes.
Beef Supreme, This movie is so much fun. It is flawed from a post-production standpoint, which I got a feeling will come up as we go, if not later on in the show. But it is it's very funny. It is prescient in some ways.
And that above all, it is a comedy.
It's a very silly film.
Kind of, I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, this wasn't one of those like this gets a lot of, I've seen some reviews where this is comparing this to like Don't Look Up. That most recent star-studded Netflix where again they're trying to plant tongue firmly in cheek, but also make a statement about the current political environment. But again, this movie was made as a comedy.
First and foremost as a comedy.
This wasn't necessarily made as a direct political satire of what the landscape was. This was Mike Judge making a comedy.
Well, and it's kind of similar to like even Mike Judge's, King of the Hill, where it is a comedy first, but it will poke at
There is a transparent film of truth laying over top of it. At some point. So but this movie is funny, and it's I kind of get to it a little bit later. I think it would be really difficult to write, to be an intelligent writer, to write this stupid.
Oh, it's
Like
yeah. I mean, just some of the like just Dax Shepard's dialogue in this movie.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much just stupidity that's written in, that, you know, and it's like Mel Brooks is great at writing stupid.
Yeah.
You know, the airplane guys, it's like there's a definite like talent in being able to do stuff like this. And
but even in Mel Brooks and the Zuckers, though, you know, there's like wordplay and you know, and puns and but with some of the dialogue in this movie, it's just like you're writing for idiots, as the name of the film implies.
You're writing
for just very unintelligent people and an unintelligent society. And
you figure, you know, Mike Judge doing it here. Mike Judge did it in Beavis and Butthead was really probably the closest very writing similar, for this, of just, I'm writing stupid for stupid. Yeah. It's like, and he's good at it.
I like money.
That's right. Look at me, I'm Cornholio. Like, it's just so stupid, but it sticks with you.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So you've got the movie this week.
I do. So you've got the characters. Who is in 2006's Idiocracy?
A lot of people, but also not very many people.
Well said.
Right. So the ones that matter are our main character, Luke Wilson, playing in the past Joe Bowers, in the future, not sure. He's an army librarian that eventually becomes, through a series of incidents, the president of the United States.
Is quite literally an average Joe.
Yes. And which, of course, is obvious why he's named Joe Bowers. Maya Rudolph plays Rita, a prostitute in the past, a woman of the night, if you will. Not a lady vampire, but
no.
But to Joe, she's an artist, and she hides that. We have Dax Shepard as Frito Pendejo, a lawyer in the future.
Yeah,
we have
in the year 2505.
Yeah, 2505. Yes. We have Terry Crews as President Dwayne Elizondo Mountain Dew Herbert Camacho.
Yes. I love how his literal name is corporate sponsored.
Exactly. Yeah. We have Andrew Wilson making an appearance later on as Beef Supreme, a rehabilitation officer.
What a great name, Beef Supreme.
and we have Brad Jordan as Upgrade, Maya Rudolph's manager.
Brad Jordan, also known as rapper Scarface from the Ghetto Boys.
Yes. Yep. We also have appearances from David Herman, Justin Long, Stephen Root, Thomas Hayden Church, Sarah Rue. It's not, I won't say star-studded, but it's a bunch of recognizable faces that I'm sure were giddy to sign on to a project like this. Yeah. This flopped, by the way. Like, this movie made nothing. Well, it's not even $500,000.
There's different speculation as to why, but the movie did not get a wide release. They basically the studio was contractually obligated to give it a theatrical release, but they released it in like half a dozen cities for 1 week, and then it's like, all right, straight. It was basically straight to DVD for all intents and purposes.
Right.
And similar to Office Space, took on a life of its own.
Oh yeah, grew legs for quite a long time out, and it just became. I don't think Idiocracy had the zeitgeist control of Office Space. I mean, there's still, and it's still very quotable and extremely funny. But like, I think Office Space resonated with people. Across the board, just because I think so. Yeah, because you've got a lot of people that live and work in offices.
It was very relatable.
Exactly. But either way, you finger the pulse of what's going on, and Mike Judge is free Mike Judge. So that's the cast. What do you got for a plot of this film?
All right,
very simple plot.
Yes,
by the way.
It is a very simple plot. We open up with evolution does not reward intelligence. With no natural predators to thin the herd, it began to simply reward those who reproduce the most. and left the intelligent to become an endangered species. So that is the opening on screen text here.
Mm-hmm.
And then we opened with there's some voiceovers and some other things which I'm really not going to get into because it was unnecessary and will probably come up later. But to me, the real beginning of the movie is the case study.
Yes,
we get past the dumb voiceover stuff, and we start with the case study of Trevor and Carol versus Cleavon.
Yeah,
and again, this is set in 2005. And so we cut back and forth between Trevor and Carol, who I think on the screen it gave their IQs. They were both somewhere around 140.
Mm-hmm.
And they're a married couple, young married couple, and they're debating about when to have kids. It's we got to start our careers, and then they were having some reproductive struggles, and eventually Trevor dies.
Yes.
And they never have a child because of just choices and career and what they prioritize, and no shame to them whatsoever.
No,
that's just that's how they approached it.
But the time was never right.
Correct. And they never had a child.
Right.
Cleavon. Yes. Juxtaposed with Cleavon, who has an IQ of I think it was 80. I think so. I think it was 80. And Cleavon reproduces at a very high rate. He has his, I think, either spouse or long-term partner. He reproduces with the neighbor.
Mm-hmm. He's very fertile.
Yes, he's well put. Very fertile man. His children reproduce. I remember the bit, and I can't give an exact quote here. They cut to Cleavon Jr. after a football game with his arms around 4 cheerleaders, saying, "I'm going to fornicate with all of you."
Yeah. And they're all just giggling.
And they're all just happy to be there. We get a moment where Cleavon is in the hospital because, dare I say, there was a moment where he was unable, or there was worry that he was unable to reproduce. A doctor's talking to the camera and says Cleavon attempted to jump a jet ski from a lake to a swimming pool and impaled his crotch on an iron gate. But fortunately, he'll regain full reproductive function.
Thankfully.
and this is like the doctor's talking to the camera, and Cleavon is behind him in the bed, and you can hear Cleavon just saying to one of the nurses or one of the techs, "Quit touching my junk." And on screen there's just basically a big chart that keeps populating with all of the children.
It's this giant like family tree.
Yes, that all trace back to Cleavon.
Some of them crossing over.
I was reading in the trivia that because there's literally hundreds of names on screen. Mm-hmm. At one point, both Hank and Bobby Hill's name are in there, as well as, and again, this was filmed in the mid aughts. George W. Bush was in there. Condoleezza Rice was in there. I think Rumsfeld's name was in there. So they're
all descendants of Cleavon.
They all descend from the Cleavon tree.
Despite being much older than Cleavon, they're still.
Don't think about it too hard, folks. No. I guess they didn't give a time frame for Cleavon. Although
that's true.
Yeah. So I mean,
but his settings seemed
correct.
Modern day 05.
Yes, and I think Cleavon, is the stand-in for many people as well.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. We then cut to Army Librarian Joe, as you mentioned before, Joe Bauer. Quite literally an average Joe. IQ of 100. Mm-hmm. He's a librarian. He took that job in the Army so that he couldn't be bothered, and he didn't really have to exert himself.
Right.
Lead follower, get out of the way. He was very big on just getting out of the way.
Very much so. Yeah.
And was proud of that.
Yeah. He loved his spot in the basement of an Army library where literally no one ever shows up.
Yeah, where he didn't have to answer to anyone. He didn't have to make any decisions. He had and desired no responsibility. That was Joe's defining trait. And so he is drafted for the human hibernation experiment, in which they are going to freeze someone in hibernation, put them into stasis for a year, and then wake them up, thaw them out, to make sure it's working. He was chosen for his extreme averageness,
which through a series of through a series of charts and graphs and bell curves, he's literally like dead zero average.
Yes,
across the board.
I almost thought about, for my movie marriage, working in Average Joe's gym from Dodgeball.
Yeah, that would have been a good one.
Yeah, but no family. He's unmarried. He's an only child. So so there's not going to be people asking questions about him, or or wondering, or trying to talk him out of it.
Yeah, he can go away for a year, and it's not going to mess with anything.
So he is the male chosen. To select a female, they could not find anyone within their own ranks, so they had to go to the quote-unquote private sector to find someone with similar traits. Rita, again, like right on the nose average IQ, no extended family. They did have to, the military officer in charge did have to pay off her pimp upgrade with 2 D's at the end because of his double dose of pimping.
That's true.
As Joe and Rita meet each other, and you mentioned it earlier during the character recap, Joe mistakes Rita, who is a prostitute, for a painter.
Yes.
And again, he's really not bright enough to ask too many other questions. I mean, he's very polite and personable.
Super polite, yeah.
Yeah, but he's all... Yeah, go ahead.
No, you finish your thought.
But he's also just big on not offending people. He doesn't like stirring things up. Again,
no, he's average.
He wants simplicity.
Yeah, I don't want any confrontation. I don't want anybody to like or dislike me.
Yeah, he just wants to be there, and that's it.
I found it very interesting throughout this movie that when you take the dead center average male and partner with the dead center average female, Rita is still infinitely smarter than Joe in this film.
Yeah. Well, she's also more clever than Joe.
Right. But it's like, but in terms of finding the person who represents average for each gender, the average female in this film, Rita.
Okay. I see what you're doing there.
Is far more intelligent and capable than the average male, Joe.
Yeah.
Yet he still gets all the accolades.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and she is so much more resourceful than he is.
Oh, yeah.
She is so much more shrewd than he is. It's the whole, like street smart versus book smart kind of thing. Right.
And I don't think that's far off from the truth.
No.
The experiences of the average woman far exceed what the average male has to go through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Patreon subscriber Melissa L is significantly more street smart and resourceful and shrewd than I am. Significantly.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking standard deviations here.
Right. You don't remember the last time you remembered where your car was parked.
No, I don't.
Still don't know where it's at.
It could be anywhere.
I think it's in the garage, but I don't know.
And so they're both, Rita and Joe are both put into hibernation, and of course, while they're in hibernation, the officer in charge, Officer Collins, is arrested for like lewd conduct, basically.
Too much time in the private sector.
In the private sector, yes. Literally and figuratively.
Yes.
The facility is demolished, and Joe and Rita are forgotten because, again, there's no one to remember them.
Right.
There's no family. There's no friends.
That was the plan.
Yeah.
Was to grab 2 people that are nobodies.
Yeah. And nobody's going to inquire about them.
Right.
Cut to 2505, 500 years in the future. There is a little montage of what the future looks like. Basically, and this is where my Wall-E comps come in, there's just piles of garbage everywhere.
Yes.
And a garbage avalanche, started off by a beer can, deposits Joe's pod in the living room of Dax Shepard's Frito,
right,
as he's watching a TV show, and I know we're a PG-13 podcast, or a PG podcast. I'm going to push towards maybe PG-10 here.
That's fair.
He's watching a show on TV called "Ow My Balls."
Yeah. Yep.
Do you want to describe the show, the premise of the show, "Ow My Balls"?
It is nothing. It's like a clip show. Of nothing but people getting injured in the groin.
Yes.
for laughs.
Yeah. It's primarily one guy.
It's like, yeah, it's Jackass meets America's funniest home videos. Like,
yeah, that's a really good comp. Yeah. Because it's intentional. The guy
yeah.
is willing to do this. I'm assuming because he's getting paid.
Yeah. And it is the number 1 show in America.
And I got to admit, if that show existed in reality, I'd probably watch it.
It's really not much different than Ridiculousness that's on MTV all the time.
Yeah. But I mean, the algorithm knows that I enjoy watching people fall down, and I enjoy watching people get out. Ow, my balls did.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And I, on the other hand, I don't like, if I'm coming across a video and somebody gets hurt, I'm the one that's like, skip away. Like, so it's in my algorithm because I've watched enough of the video pre getting hurt. And that's why it's like keep getting force-fed things I don't want to watch because the first 8 seconds are fine.
I think the algorithm assumes that because you like late 80s wrestling, you also like watching
could be it too.
Ravishing Rick Rude take an inverted atomic drop.
That could be the case as well, yes.
It's confusing those two subgenres of funny. So Frito again is watching Ow My Balls as Joe's pod literally crashes through the wall and window into his living room. We see on TV, so it's a very large TV, I'm guessing, like 60, 70-inch TV. And the show is in the middle of the TV, but surrounding it are a dozen, like, basically ads and commercials, all playing at the same time, which is, again, we're getting dangerously close to that in some ways.
Yes.
Frito, Joe comes to. Frito basically throws a disoriented Joe out of the window. And as Joe is wandering the streets in the future, and again, he's not yet aware of when he is.
Right.
He's speaking normal English, normal vernacular, normal cadence.
Yeah, 2005.
Correct. And he's laughed at by everyone because his just normal articulate speaking voice is considered to be effeminate.
Yes.
Yeah. And so no one takes him seriously when he's asking questions, asking for help. So eventually he goes to the hospital. He realizes something's not right. And plus, I mean, he's been in stasis for 500 years. I'm sure physically and cognitively he feels off.
I bet.
So he goes to the hospital and it meets with Dr. Justin Long at one point.
I love Justin Long.
Yeah, he was really funny in this role. Justin Long, who just, his character just, he's high, and his medical feedback to Joe is just a series of laughs and giggles. Joe at one point stands up and goes to the window and looks outside and sees the mounds of garbage, and sees two skyscrapers that are literally tied together.
Yes.
So they don't fall over. And then looks at a broken highway overpass and at a car that just drives off.
Yeah.
And at that point he just goes, "Oh my God," and realizes something's wrong. Looks at like the newspaper and the magazines and recognizes he's 500 years in the future.
Yes.
In the meantime, Dr. Justin Long is panicking because Joe doesn't have a tattoo and is unscannable. So essentially, 500 years in the future, everyone, I'm assuming at birth,
is branded.
Is branded with a barcode. Your tattoo, that you use for everything. You use to purchase. You use everywhere. It's your form of ID. So he ends up running out of the hospital. He observes his mother, a mother trying to get food for her children from a Carl's Jr. kiosk.
Yeah.
And this
Carl's Jr. is the prominent.
Oh, it is. Yeah. It's kind of like how Taco Bell is the restaurant in Demolition Man.
And Demolition Man, yeah.
Yeah, I easily could use Demolition Man for this too. But yeah, Carl's Jr. is the food juggernaut. 500 years, which I think checks out if you ask me. Yeah, I can see Carl, like all the other restaurants, just battling it out and taking each other out, and Carl's Jr. just sort of being there and persisting, and now they're the only one left.
Yeah.
So the food kiosk judges the mother trying to get food for her children, and literally tells her, "You are an unfit mother. Your children will be placed in the custody of Carl's Jr. Carl's Jr. I'll say, fluff you. I'm eating." I love how it's just it. Carl's Jr. also has the legal means to
Yeah.
apparently is also DCFS.
Yeah, they're the state sponsored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As well as just the insults that it gives as well. So Joe, essentially, he's arrested for not having a tattoo. He's brought before Judge Stephen Root, who is amazing in his little cameo.
Oh, yes.
They have his hair styled like Wolverine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a kick out of that.
Yeah. And in Joe's court-appointed lawyer is none other than Frito himself. So Dax Shepard returns here, who, of course, is also against Joe because nobody likes Joe.
Well, and because the prosecutor told him to.
Yeah. And so Joe's found guilty. He's taken to a prison. He's given a tattoo, and the machine that does all this, that verifies his identity, Joe mistakenly says that his name is not Sure.
Yeah, it's like you're filling out the boxes on like a new account. And but it's asking him the questions, and then he's just not sure of what it's asking.
Yeah.
But it's taking his answer
literally and recording
as his answer.
Yeah. And so his new legal name is literally the words "not sure."
Right.
Joe, as he walks into prison, he dupes a guard into letting him out, because he realizes there's two lines. There's an in line and an out line, and he tells one of the guards, I'm in the wrong line. I'm supposed to be getting out today.
Okay.
Yeah, you're in the wrong line, stupid. and
chastise him for
yeah.
It's so funny.
One of my favorite dumb lines, just moments of nothingness in this movie that a Patreon subscriber Melissa and I reference all the time, is as Joe is looking out the window into the prison yard, there's a very large man who's sitting on the head of another man. And he points at Joe and he goes, and he points at him and then he points down like, "You're next." And so Joe tells the guard, "That guy even sat on my face and everything." It's so dumb, but he gets out. Everybody buys it. He gets out. He escapes. Joe returns to Frito's and asks if time travel has been invented, because again, we're 500 years in the future. Scientific, revelations and discoveries. All these things have had to have happened, right? We're in the future. And Frito says there is a time machine, but it breaks a lot.
Yeah.
And Joe convinces Frito that if you help me go back in time, I will create you a bank account that will accrue interest and make you billions. I like money.
Dax Shepard's so this is like the penultimate Dax Shepard role.
It is the role. This is actually one of my possible goods. It is the role Dax Shepard was born to play.
Yes. Stupid.
Yeah. And I got a feeling it's not too far off from Dax Shepard. So Frito and Joe pick up, they run across and also now free Rita, who, because of her shrewdness and her street smarts, has been able to start making money.
Yeah.
She's recapturing her skills as a prostitute, as for her solicitation skills.
Yes.
But she doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah, she doesn't have to provide.
Yeah, because she just takes people's money and like, I'll get to you tomorrow. Okay. However, Rita is the one thing that kind of reminds you that Rita is probably not as smart as she comes across sometimes is that she's convinced Upgrade will find her.
Yes. Yeah. She's dead
500
set.
years in the future.
Right. That Upgrade's coming.
Upgrade will find her. So after escaping the police, Frito tells Joe, we don't have time for Starbucks.
Yeah.
which will come back later. But
Yeah.
Starbucks, as we can already tell by Carl's Jr. now also being the state ward of the or will take in wards of the state.
Mm-hmm.
Starbucks also has evolved as well in
A little
the
bit.
industries and services it provides to the public.
Yes.
Frito ends up taking them to Costco to catch a train because Costco
to the Costco.
Yes, which is several square miles.
Yes, it is the only Costco.
Yeah, it is the Costco, and everything is done there. It's not only what we think of as Costco. Like we walk in and there's just an open area with like several hundred red couches.
Yeah.
But it's also a transit station. So like they go to Costco to catch a train. And as they walk in, there's, how Costco has greeters, they scan your card and all that. There's a Costco greeter who's just kind of staring off into space with a smock that's too small for him, just stating, "Welcome to Costco. I love you."
He's a big dude.
He is a very large dude. And apparently it was a one-size-fits-all Costco smock.
Yeah, their smock, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know how he tied it, but
it's I don't know. I have a feeling it's Velcro. I'm sure they can't tie.
I'm sure, yeah.
It's Velcro.
Oh yeah, they can't tie.
Oh, so as they're waiting for the train, Rita says, "Do I have time to use the bathroom?" And of course, Frito's like, "Bathroom." It's so stupid, but again, that typifies the humor that everyone has in the future. It's all toilet humor, literally and figuratively. It's all it's Ow My Balls is the best TV show. At one point, and I'm not going to say the name of the movie, but the recent Oscar-winning movie for Best Picture was a movie called But. Again, using a different word. And it literally was an hour and a half of just a bare male butt that farts.
Yeah.
Best picture.
Yeah.
I think we're going to nominate that. If anybody from Chicago Indie Critics, who we are members of, is watching this, we might nominate that movie for.
It'll be my write-in for the Windies.
For the Windies for a picture.
And it'll be a fitting one.
Yeah, because it's windy. Maybe we should suggest a new category called Most Windy.
It's true.
So there's best picture for the windy, and then there's just literally most windy,
the windiest award,
which is a literal award. It's the movie that features the most moving air.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Patreon subscriber Don S. We hope you're taking notes here. Yeah,
windiest award.
Windiest award.
Not for best picture. It's most hair blown.
Yeah.
Twister would have won.
Twister would have been a runaway.
So Twister's possibly. It came out this year.
This morning before the time of recording, I was talking with Patreon subscriber Melissa. She's come up a lot in this episode. About a scene from 1988's "I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker," which is a movie we have not covered yet on the show, but at some point we have to. A movie that pokes fun at the blaxploitation era.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a scene in that movie where Dawn Lewis's character, who works at a diner, goes home because she's having really, really strong menstrual cramps.
Uh-huh.
And of course, she's getting tailed by one of the bad guys,
right? Who
confronts her. And she's and she's like, just don't just leave me alone,
right?
And he says, no, you're coming with me. And she turns around, and the Exorcist movie is playing, and there's shadows flying against the wall, and her eyes are completely white, and her hair is getting blown back. Cramps. I asked you nicely. Oh, cinema at its finest.
Oh, Matt. Yes. Film within a film.
References. Yes, exactly. So while Rita's in the bathroom, making toilet sounds, Joe is again arrested. However, this time, instead of being sent directly to Judge Stephen Root or directly to prison, he's brought to the White House.
Yes.
Because they got a hold of his IQ test, and it is the highest IQ of anyone alive.
Yes, he is literally the smartest man
Yes.
on earth.
Yeah, measurably the smartest person alive. We meet members of the cabinet. We meet we meet the education secretary, which I think for me gets the biggest laugh every time I watch this. He's looking into like a snow globe or
Yeah.
something, and he just turns to the camera and just it gives this smile that just defines dumb. There's no other way to put it. The Secretary of State, I think a Secretary of State is just a woman with just her cleavages everywhere.
Yes.
There's like a mid-teen boy who's Secretary of something else. They want Joe to be the Secretary of the Interior because there's a Dust Bowl situation going on, and food is running scarce.
Yeah.
And
it's like a legit, like,
yeah.
I'm proud of you for trying to address this problem.
Yeah,
like,
to their credit, they've recognized there's a real problem.
Yeah.
That they're running out of food.
It's Wally, like you said.
Yeah,
it's Wally.
And so they make Joe the Secretary of Interior. The crops aren't growing.
Right.
Help us grow crops. And the economy is tanking, and they expect not sure to fix it. So Joe has both Frito and Rita brought in, and discovers that they're watering the crops not with water, Oz, but they're using Brondo, which is the future's evolution of Gatorade. Yes.
Yeah. It's got electrolytes.
It's got Brondo's got what plants crave.
All right.
How do you know they crave it?
All right.
It's got electrolytes.
It's got electrolytes.
It's got what plants crave.
It's what plants crave.
So after Joe tries to tell them we need to use like water, and tries to tell, and again, the Brondo thing just loops that joke. He eventually just tells them he can talk to plants.
Yeah.
And convinces them that the plants are telling him that they want water. And so it's
It's like Joe is aware that his ideas to get out of situations are dumb. Like, he tries to come at it with a rational, average intelligence. Like, let's think about this. And then, of course, it all falls apart because it's too smart for these people.
Yeah.
So then I think it's part of possibly like some of the unmissed comedy of this movie is watching this 2005 world's most average intelligence person now have to dumb down to make and it's like, here's a rational answer. We don't understand that. Okay, well, I could talk to plants. Like, I shouldn't be in jail. How am I going to get out of here? I'll just tell them I'm supposed to be leaving today. And it's naturally it all works because even his dumbest ideas are still too smart for. They still outsmart the general public.
It's kind of like this movie is kind of an inverted fish out of water story.
Oh yeah.
And you know how much I like a good fish out of water
for
story.
Sure.
And normally in a fish out of water story, like Encino Man, was in My Movie Marriage, where the fish is typically less intelligent or not culturally sensitive or not part of that particular sect of society, and you're watching them make their way through and learn as they go.
Learn, adapt, grow.
Yes. Whereas in Joe's case, he has to kind of de-evolve to fit in. So they start watering all the crops, but of course
he's given a week. You have
a week
to fix the dust storms, make the crops grow. They don't have a clue.
No,
or you're going to prison.
Yeah, and of course that's just not how things work. Right. And it takes plants longer than that to grow. And of course, after a week, there's no observable results. Right. And Brondo, in the meantime, Brondo's stock is dropping. The economy tanks. Half the country is laid off because apparently half the country works for Brondo or subsidiaries of Brondo.
Exactly.
And Joe is not sent to prison this time, Oz. He is sent to rehabilitation, or as I like to say, rehabilitation. Rehabilitation.
So I like money.
And rehabilitation is essentially a TV show or like a reality TV show that's a giant arena where they send people to be executed.
Yeah, it's Thor Ragnarok with monster trucks.
With monster trucks and an army of people playing guitar.
Yes.
So Joe is tied to a rock, so he can't escape. Literally, he's tied to a big
Yeah.
boulder, like cartoon
Giant
style.
boulder. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's led into an arena where he faces his own real life brother, Andrew Wilson, as
Yes.
Beef Supreme. He is the
Who,
rehabilitator.
who's come out of retirement
Yes, just for this.
just for not sure.
Just for not sure. At the White House, in the meantime, Rita's watching this on TV, helpless to do anything about it. But she looks outside the White House and notices a rose growing,
Yeah.
proving that Joe's watering of the plants is working. And so one of my other favorite gags in this movie, again, she's in the White House and Frito is there, and she's on the other side of the room. She's maybe 15 feet away from the TV, and she points to the TV and says, "Frito, get me over there." And he picks her up and brings her and sets her down in front of the TV. And then she goes like, "No, stupid, bring me to where that is."
Yeah, I enjoyed that bit too, because it's just so simple and stupid. But he did what you told him to.
Yeah, he took her literally. Bring me over there, and
didn't even question it. He just did it.
He just did it. So eventually, Rita and Frito get there. They convince a camera guy to follow them. And after a quick stop at a Starbucks, they end up getting a shot. The camera falls down, and it falls within sight of growing crops.
Right.
And just before, in the meantime, Joe / Not Sure is in this giant arena, running from the monster trucks, running from Beef Supreme, who has a flamethrower and like a small like grenade launcher that he's shooting at Joe.
And everybody loves it.
Oh yeah, of course everybody does. There's a voiceover guy who's like announcing everything, and just before Beef Supreme flamethrowers Joe, President Camacho sees the live feed and comes in and saves Joe.
Right.
Yeah. President Camacho, by the way, played by Terry Crews, and is absolutely amazing in this movie.
Steals this movie.
Yes, he is so good in this movie, and he really kind of parlayed that into his career.
Oh yeah, like the like you mentioned, those Old Spice commercials. Like this is like. I think Terry Crews is fine as an actor. Like, you don't see him in a lot of stuff.
He knows who he is.
Yeah, you don't see him in a lot of stuff, but he stays in his lane.
And he's really good at it.
Yeah, he is. And this is perfect example of that.
Yeah, just so charismatic and so, I guess, authentic in his charisma. So celebrating back at the White House, Joe thanks Rita, who tells Joe, "I'm not going to go back to the past. I want to stay here." And Joe decides he's going to stay and help in the present of 2505 as well. They also learn in the meantime that the time machine is just an old carnival ride called the Time Machine, and which explains why it breaks down a lot, because it's a carnival ride.
And the people working on it are stupid.
Yeah, because Joe eventually becomes president. Rita becomes the first lady, and Frito the vice president. As Joe is giving his inaugural address, people wrote movies and you cared whose butt was farting.
Also, like the on-screen text that Joe and Rita have the 3 smartest kids in the world. While Frito has 32 dumb kids. With
like 6 wives or something.
Yeah, so it's like the spiral around. Continues.
There is a post-credit sequence as well, as in which Upgrade also emerges from a pod in the futures, which confirms Rita's paranoia to be accurate.
Yes.
So. And that is 2006's Idiocracy, Mike Judge's Idiocracy. Oz, any final thoughts on this movie?
It's been a while since I've seen it, and I do like I just like Mike Judge. Yeah. He keeps things simple. He stays on track. Yes, there is usually some sort of social commentary involved, but it's lighthearted, and there's a movie to enjoy even if you don't take that commentary. Yeah. And so I really like this movie.
And Mike Judge has a way of poking fun at class, poking fun at like regional culture, like King of the Hill is a great example of that, while still treating the people or the cultures he's poking at with dignity.
Yeah, he's not insulting about it.
Yeah, and King of the Hill is a prime example of that. It really dives into, kind of suburban, rural Texan culture.
Yeah.
In a way that, everybody is both celebrated and kind of poked at the same
Hmm.
time. And, like Hank Hill is this, your kind of Reagan era conservative, but
Yeah.
still wants the best for people.
Yeah.
And
He's a good dad.
yeah, he is. He's a good person. And even in this movie, in Idiocracy, they're just dumb. They're not.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue they have mean elements to them, but it's also because they don't know any better.
Right.
And
And
not that excuses it, but like
no, but
that's
yeah,
the society they live in.
Yeah, I agree. And so, yeah, I do like Mike Judge's handling of things. And in a way, it's especially like King of the Hill. I think if a person with extreme thoughts against that like Texan culture or whatever, like this, like King of the Hill would be a great introduction as to these are people that honestly want the same things you want. Like they want a good life. They want to take care of their kids. Like,
yeah.
And so, cause there are some extreme believers on both sides of any spectrum. And sometimes we can use entertainment and media as a bridge to, no, not everybody, that lives in Texas is painted the same way.
Yeah.
Like, and like, again, we just keep going to King of the Hill because we can't go forward 500 years for Idiocracy. But it's viable that it's like, you're going to find a lot of great people in the bluest of blue states, the reddest of red states. Like, don't let your judgment be clouded by what we're being told on the news or shown on Apple News feeds. And
agreed. All right, folks, at this point in the show, Oz and I always give our own unique rating to the film we've been yapping about, in this case, Idiocracy. Oz, how would you rate this flick?
I'm giving it 86 beef supremes.
That is literally the same scale I was going to use. I was going to give it on a beef supreme scale.
So give it a beef supreme scale. Don't make it too hard for our viewers. Keep it simple.
I got something here. I'm going to go with I'm going to go with, and I think my number here is apropos for the humor that people in 2505 would appreciate. I'm going to go with 69 kicks to the balls.
Yeah, I figured you would have gone 6-7.
Yes, that's the thing right now at the time of this recording. All right, folks, next up, Oz and I scour the interwebs searching for unprofessional reviews that tickle our funny bones, and we hope they tickle yours as well in this week's edition of Outside Insight. Oz, my friend, what do you have as far as Outside Insights?
I have a few.
Sure. As do I.
They're all very short.
Yes.
First one, 1/2-star review from Patricia Taxon. Hey, welcome to Idiocracy. We got 2 jokes on the menu. Sight gag of something from our current society, but exaggerated and or sexualized. And 2, look at that funny mentally disabled person who talks funny or in a racial dialect. Doesn't that just tickle you? 1/2-star. Like, yeah. Nick says there's real genius and foresight in this movie, and it's terrifying. 4 stars. Josephina, 1/2-star review, says, so this white guy who thinks that if black people want to be in jail, maybe they need to stop committing crimes. Or black people don't want to be in jail, maybe they should stop committing crimes. Yeah, this is his favorite movie. 1/2-star. And my last one, 2.5 stars by Will. Wow, revisiting this now, it looks almost like a documentary of smug middle-class liberalism, folks. He left literally 4 sets of ellipses to get to that punchline.
Give 4 pauses.
So, if anything's to be taken from this series of reviews, it's that I'm only going to comment if I can be extreme about it.
Yep.
Yeah. So don't be the problem. What do you have? Hopefully something more fun.
I will. I have 3, and just kind of going off yours. I'm going to start with my one that you expect from this kind of thing, and then I'll get to the 2 that are a little more fun here. The first one was left in is a 10 out of 10 from Fry High, left as always from the Internet Movie Database. This is from November 14th, 2024.
Okay.
Yes, that's your context.
Yep.
with the subject line, "We're there already, just too stupid to see it." Writing this at the tail end of 2024, the circus pulled into town and rebranded itself as the government. Lack of education funding means that almost half of Americans can't read. So enjoy this prophetic vision of our current affairs and have a laugh at our collective idiocracy. I really wish I could laugh as hard watching this movie today as I did 10 years ago. Now I just cry inside. So that's the first one. We'll get that one out of the way. The second one is kind of halfway in between.
Okay.
So also a 10 out of 10, left by BNEF in May of 2020. Better every 5 years with the subject line. Okay. Seriously, the more time passes, the better this movie becomes. It's just slightly less of a comedy and more of a documentary every 5 years. The last one, though, this is where we'll have fun, and we'll end on a silly note here. This is a 1 out of 10, left by Sick Boy 48.
Who was your Department of Education chair?
Yes, Sick Boy, with the subject line, "I'm sorry." I got a 1 out of 10.
Okay.
This is simply one of the worst movies I have ever seen, and certainly the worst since I last watched Cabin Boy. Again, Patreon subscriber Melissa L would have qualms with that.
Yes.
She is arguably the biggest fan of the movie Cabin Boy I've ever run across, with the possible exception being Chris Elliott himself.
But you've not run across him, so
yes, which I have not run across. So, assuming that she's probably even a bigger fan of Cabin Boy than Chris Elliott is.
Well, because I enjoy those, like, sometimes you get interviews, you'll see them online, of fans that get a chance to talk to the celebrity. Mm-hmm. And of course, even in, like, with sports fandoms the same way, for that fan, it's their identity.
Yeah.
For that actor or musician or whatever, it's work.
Yeah, like Mark Hamill.
Yeah. And so it tickles me when you see these fans that, like Colbert with Tolkien.
Yeah.
That when they're talking to somebody who's worked on it, and of course this is the holy grail for them, like, I'm talking to Gimli or whatever, and it's like it was a job to them. So it's like, for this fan who has watched the movie 300 times and is expecting that actor who's not watched the movie at all to remember every living detail of and it's like it just cracks me up when so it's like, Melissa probably is a bigger fan of Cabin Boy than Chris Elliott.
Chris Elliott,
Why wouldn't it? Why would he be a fan of his own film? It's it's just I love the I can't think of the right word, but just the injustice of it. But you're supposed to live and breathe that character.
But no, you're Ash from Evil Dead.
Yeah. And it's like, and no, I'm not. And it's like, kudos to those, and really kudos to those performers that just are real about it. And they're like, sorry, I don't remember what happened that day.
Which is why back in the day when you and I would go to conventions, we would intentionally dress semi-professionally. Just to set ourselves apart from the black t-shirt clad crowd. Which, again, nothing wrong with that. I own black fandom t-shirts. But if nothing else, just to give the people we're meeting, just, I don't know, something a little different.
Yeah, we were such an anomaly.
Someone who isn't drooling over them.
Yeah, we were such an anomaly in Baltimore that year.
Yeah,
like we got oodles of extra time with Bruce Campbell just so that he could talk to someone who's
not just spouting lines at him.
Yeah, who's not just this raging fan. Are we fans? Sure, we are.
Say work shed.
Yeah, do it. Oh my God, this is the greatest day of my life, Mr. Campbell. And we're just like, hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Bruce? We like your work.
Yeah, great job. Keep
how
it up.
How are you as a person doing?
Yeah. Did you enjoy Chicago last week? Yeah. But yeah, then the next guy is like, sign my face. I'm never gonna wash this off.
Yeah, exactly.
But those were fun days.
Yes, they were. Perhaps one day we can relive them.
Well, I have to take out a second mortgage to pay to talk to a celebrity these days.
To get Ted DiBiase's autograph.
Yeah. We looked at whatever the Comic-Con Wizard World is up in Chicago, Fan Expo or something like that. We looked at it this year as mainly because we took Ella to Comic-Con way back in the day when she was just a infant, and got a cool picture of Anthony Michael Hall with her, Ralph Macchio with her. Well, Anthony Michael Hall, there was like a Christmas Vacation reunion at this like last month at the convention. And so we tossed around the idea of let's go back and we'll print out our own 8x10 of Anthony Michael Hall with our daughter and ask, can you, like, this was from back in the day. This is her now. Yeah. Can you sign this and get an updated photo? Yeah. It was like $225 to just meet it just for an autograph. Yeah. And then an extra like $150 for a photo. And I'm like, that's a bit spicy. That's a lot. Yeah. And so that's where conventions have grown to, is every year I look at them and I'm like, oh man, that would be fun. But $75 per person to get in the door. And then, and there is no just walk up to the table anymore. Everything is scheduled. Yeah. You have to get in this line. It's like,
takes the fun out of it.
Oh, it ruined it. Just ruined it.
By the way, speaking of Cabin Boy, look at March 26.
Okay.
And as let's see, as you are doing that, folks, it is that point in the show you've all been waiting for, the Let's Talk About Flicks signature segment, the 3, 2, 1, in which Oz and I each share 3 goods, 2 bads, and 1 about this week's movie, Idiocracy. Oz, what are your 3 goods?
The first one I'd mentioned earlier is the ability to write dialogue this dumb.
Yeah.
And make it work. Like, no, we've watched movies that have really bad dialogue. That's done with fidelity. This is legit. I'm going to write this joke for a stupid character and I need to make him sound stupid. So that's my first good. My second one, which I'm going to steal it from you, I think, Dax Shepard.
Yep.
While Terry Crews steals the movie in the scenes he's in, Dax Shepard is that constant barometer of idiocracy.
Yeah.
It's like he's a lawyer in this film.
Yeah.
Like
he's there to remind you he's the everyman of the movie.
And he's just and he's just dumb. Like and I love it. He does such a good job with that performance. And third, the pacing and runtime, this movie does not overstay its welcome.
Yes.
It makes its point. You're in, you're out, and you can go enjoy the rest of your day, realizing that 500 years from now, you're not going to be alive. So hopefully you don't have to be subjected to this level of Brondo. So it's got electrolytes though. So those are my 3 goods. How many of yours did I just steal?
Just the Dax Shepard one. Okay. I always have more than I need here.
I know you do.
Basically, I'm just gonna do 3 bits from this movie. I'm not gonna get into the commentary. Just 3 fun moments.
Yep.
The first one is just actually 2 of the 3 are right at the beginning. The first one is just the Trevor Lincaro versus Cleavon. It just that set the right tone for this movie. And I wish they would have just opened on that. Just open on Trevor and Carol and not do the other stuff, which that might come up in our next bit here. But that was the best intro that this movie could have had. It was funny. It set the tone for how things devolved over 500 years. And the second one is, and I didn't mention this during the plot because it's inconsequential to the plot. The Fuddruckers bit. How over the 500 years, the corporate name of the restaurant Fuddruckers also changed and devolved over the years into something that we cannot say on a PG podcast. But and you knew exactly where the joke was going as soon as you saw it change from Fuddruckers to like. I don't know what the second one was, but like Ruck Fudders or something. Yeah, but you knew exactly where it was going, and it got there, and it was still funny. So
yes, it was.
Yeah. And then the last one is just a line from this movie that anytime I hear someone say the word water, my brain immediately goes to water. You like in the toilet? So yes, at any time anyone mentions the word water, just know that is where my brain is at. Is water like in the toilet?
That's fair. It's been a while because that's usually what I get to drink when we're out. It's just water. So
Water from the toilet.
next time we go out and have something to eat together, I'll be sure to order something different just to spare you.
So if you just say water's fine, then just whether or not I say it out loud, that's what I'm thinking.
You're thinking it. Yeah.
I'm thinking that, and I'm probably giggling.
That's fair.
So those are my 3 goods. Oz, what are your 2 bads?
My first one, and I kind of mentioned this earlier too, is this movie being ahead of its time.
Yes.
And the seemingly
Yep.
trajectory that we seem to be on. So I'm just going to leave it at that without getting too detailed. My second is, and again, kind of mentioned this earlier, is Joe's still pretty dumb for being the most average person in 2005.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like intelligence wise, IQ, and to therefore be average, you would need just as many intelligent as unintelligent if you're looking at it as a true like mean. But he's even in 2005, like and I don't know, because you probably dabble more in, or have dabbled more in the IQ test spectrum than I ever have. So it's like I'm curious, you know, like just in general, like what is the average IQ, and what does a person with said average IQ like? I've never knowingly, because it's not like we have little bubbles above our head with our IQ score.
I do.
It's out of frame at the moment, but it's there.
It is. Yeah, it's there.
But like a sim. But it's just, you know, that's my second bad, is that Joe's still pretty dumb for being the most average person in 2005.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you could have better represented that. But this movie, it's not like it had a ton of research done either. This isn't a scientific study. So that's my second bad, is that just still pretty dumb for being the most average.
Yeah.
What you got?
For my bads, I'm gonna start with the movie. Again, it was pretty low budget, but it had, the CG they used in the movie was really bad, like really bad. Not that like significantly detracted from it, but it was to the point where it was pretty noticeable.
Very noticeable, yeah.
Yeah, and so again, that's a minor qualm.
Yeah.
The real bad here, though, is just all of the studio interference that went into this, which again, like that happened with Office Space. That tends to be a trend with Mike Judge, you know, works. In a recent,
even not to interrupt, but it's like even in what we're experiencing right now of like, maybe there always has been this little bit of attempt to silence.
Yes. Yeah. Again, we're recording in mid-September 2025. There's been some free speech issues that involve corporate media
being pressured by the government. And
so just the, you know, I mean, especially from corporate media and just even corporations in general, it always comes down to the almighty dollar.
It's all money.
It's all it is. And so just the combination of studio interference, like, you know, the forced voiceover narration that they put in just didn't work, especially at the beginning. Like, the irony is the voiceover is over explaining the movie. It's dumbing down a movie that's called Idiocracy. And so and that's where I say, like, this is a solid, funny movie, but it could have been a spectacular movie if the studio just stayed out of it. Like, again, Terry Crews in a recent interview also, he asserted that corporate advertisers, corporate sponsors were one of the big influences as to why the movie got shelved and why the distribution was so low. Yeah, because you think about, because I guess they didn't ask permission to use Costco or Starbucks or Carl's Jr. They just did it, and those places got in the way,
right?
And so it's just gross, and it altered the film. It altered how people access the film, and so that's my second bad, my real bad.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, Oz, what's your huh?
My real and then I have a question just as a follow up. But my real is how is the White House still standing 500 years later? You
Sure.
know, as society has slipped into complete nonsensical morons at every turn, but yeah, the White House is still there. So
Yeah.
kudos to the construction of the
Yeah.
White House. But as you
Solidly
know,
built.
because you know these guys aren't going to rebuild it.
No.
So that's my is how's the White House still standing? My follow up, and this is just more of a general question: if this movie were made today, what brands would replace the brands in the film?
That is interesting. I think Starbucks would still be Starbucks.
I think Starbucks would be there. I think Costco would be there.
I think Costco. But yeah, you think about Carl's Jr.
Yeah.
Chipotle maybe?
Possibly, yeah.
Because like what it's like McDonald's is the easy answer, but
yeah, but that's why it's not. Yeah. I could Chipotle or Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, actually, I like Chick-fil-A better.
I think Chick-fil-A.
I think Chick-fil-A, as you mentioned, it makes more sense for a couple of reasons.
Yeah, I think Crocs would be a big thing in this film.
Did you read the trivia about Crocs?
I didn't.
Okay, it's funny you bring up Crocs. In the trivia, they're trying like the wardrobing department was on a paper thin budget, and they're trying to come up with cheap ways to outfit the actors, and somebody came identified there. Well, there's this shoe that's basically like plastic and rubber, and it's got holes in it, and they're relatively cheap, and they look kind of weird, which would make sense in 2505.
And they're simple to put on.
Yeah, and and somebody asked, well, like, what if this actually takes off and becomes a thing? And the wardrobe department responded like, that'll never happen. These shoes are incredibly ugly. They were Crocs.
I didn't read that.
Yeah, and it was the actual like Croc brand.
So, again, ahead of its time.
Do you have any speculation about like other corporations that we would see in this?
I think Netflix would have its fingers all over this in terms of, I think everything would be run through Netflix. Sure. But yeah, I would say mainly like the food. I understand why Gatorade's not on board, but I think Monster would replace Brondo.
Sure, it's got energy.
Yeah, it's got electrolytes. It's what plants crave. But just little like extreme well-known brands like that, I think would definitely hit.
All right.
Or if not Monster, Red Bull.
Sure.
Yeah. Just that. Yeah, that kind of that level of things. But that would have been my just a question. As I had that earlier, I was like, what if they made this today, what brands would replace some of those? But yeah, I definitely think Chick-fil-A replaces Carl's Jr.
Yeah, it's that the more I think about it, Chick-fil-A makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
We in the town I work in, they just got a Chick-fil-A, and it is the mecca of town right now.
Yeah.
Like I have students like crawling over themselves to try to get jobs there. Like it's Well,
you got Sundays off. So
that's true.
But it's good food. But it seems to be like that's pretty common, where they pop up is gotta get there.
Yeah, they become shrines.
Yeah. They're never not busy.
That is true.
What's your
As for my I'm going to give a couple of backup huns. One of them is very similar to yours with the White House, and that was like, if everyone's that dumb, like who's like, there's still got to be people engineering things. Like who made the Carl's Jr. food kiosk?
Right? Yeah.
Another possible hunt I had, and this one I think kind of answers itself, but like, why are their clothes so shiny?
They are very shiny clothing.
Very shiny clothes. My real hunt though is we never saw a third pod. So how did Upgrade like I don't know if they just they mass produced him. Like, did he just wander onto the base and get in? Like, how did Upgrade get into said pod to end up in the future?
I second that one. I forgot there was a post credit, so when you mentioned it, that was my first. I'm like, how'd Upgrade get there? So that's a good one.
Yeah. And that, folks, is 2006's Idiocracy. That also wraps this month, Oz. This wraps up insulting titles, movies that their literal titles insult you in some way, shape, or form.
And as a preview of what's to come in October, which traditionally we try to do something a little horror-esque.
Yes.
Stephen King movies from 2 years ago, Hitchcocktober last year.
I love Hitchcocktober.
Man Bats from 22.
Man Bats. and for reference, the prior month was Batmen.
Yes.
And then we did Man Bats.
But we did add it to where we had to see a man transition to a bat in the film.
Yes, that was the rule.
So we're going to go from insulting titles to something far less insulting, far easier to digest.
Well, depends on how we define less insulting. Not as literally insulting like the stupids.
No, but something far easier on the palate. Something that's everyone can circle around and accept and enjoy.
Movies at a studio that everyone celebrates.
Everybody celebrates. We're going to do a month of trauma films.
We are going there, folks.
There are, I'm sure, several listeners right now that are asking, what's a trauma film?
What isn't a trauma film?
Yeah. Trauma films are cinema, honestly, and I don't mean this tongue in cheek, cinema at its purest.
Yes.
It is filmmakers making movies of their ideas. Like what is on screen, this is true independent cinema. Yes. Per founder Lloyd Kaufman, which we'll wait till next month to share Lloyd Kaufman.
We'll tell the stories, yeah.
But yeah, it is independent film at its most independent. Yeah. There is no outside there is no outside corporate influence. It is let's make movies whether they make money or not. Yeah. And so we are going to go with a month of trauma films. To be fair, some of them, some upstarts, like there's gonna be names that we discuss next month that got their start in the trauma pipeline. Yeah,
particularly it's a 5-weeker.
It's a 5-weeker.
Yeah, because then let's talk about Flicks Land. We measure time by Wednesdays, and there's 5 Wednesdays in October 2025 this year.
And
particularly weeks 3 and 4.
And week 2 had arguably the biggest impact on culture. As there's a remake coming out. So, but we are going to kick off October 2025 with one of my favorites.
One that almost made the education movies one.
It almost did.
From a couple months ago.
Yeah, we bumped it.
Yes.
But we are going to cover a movie that I have seen as a youth way more times than any youth should see this movie.
Influence you to become an educator.
I watched this movie a lot. It was on HBO a lot.
God, how did this movie make it onto HBO?
I don't know, but it's like I don't remember ever renting it, but I remember watching this movie whether it was HBO or Cinemax or whatever. It was on, and I watched it a lot. This is one of my shape my views, shape what I accept and enjoy. We're gonna watch Class of Nukem High, 1986's Class of Nukem High. This movie is great. This movie has shown up in movie marriages of mine. This movie is a good no, but we've talked before. It is gritty. It is dirty. It is everything that they wanted to put in this movie. They put in it. Yeah. Cause there was nothing telling them they couldn't. And I love it for it. And again, short, it's hour, 20 minutes. Gets in, gets out. Yeah. It's repulsive. It's offensive.
Well, that's trauma.
That's trauma.
All of the things.
Yeah.
It is there to challenge your sensibilities, and they don't pull any punches.
No, they do not. So I'm going to preface right now that a lot of times you and I, in our bads, for me, I'm speaking for me, a lot of times in our bads, if there is offensive terminology, outdated comments, like in The Jerk, there was use of the N-word. we threw that in there. I'm going to make a choice this month for myself. I'm not going to use those as bads.
Okay.
Because we're talking trauma. They're going to be offensive. I won't say they're made to be offensive, but it's the collection of filmmakers and actors and writers and things within this scope are pushing the envelope. Yeah. That's what they do. And so I'm going to make a personal choice to not use that as a bad, because it'd be a bad every week.
Yeah.
Every week it'd be a built-in bad. So me personally, I'm going to choose not to. I will go on record and say that the terminology and negative connotations of words, they're all over these movies. I don't recall ever using them because I saw them in film.
Yeah.
I didn't call people that because I was introduced to it in Class of Nukem High. Like, I just never did. So, but that's my personal choice, and that's because
you're telling me that violent movies and video games didn't influence your violent actions?
No, it didn't. But I was disappointed that I couldn't rip open someone's stomach and eat popcorn out of it. Like that bummed me out later in life.
Or all the times you tried it. Yeah.
All the times I've tried. And so that, again, not that anybody cares, but it's like, I'm going to challenge myself to find 2 bads each week of movies that are bad.
Sure.
These are bad films.
And intentionally bad.
Intentionally bad films, because they didn't care about making a good film. They just cared about making a film.
Yeah.
We just wanted to make a movie. So that's me. And we're going to kick off that month, like I said, with Class of Nukem High, a movie that says a lot about education. And also was very ahead of its time. Well, if it weren't for this movie, think of how many schools would be built next to nuclear power plants.
That's true. That was the one takeaway. That was the one actionable takeaway from Class of Nukem High.
Boy, they really shined a light on what would happen if we did.
Don't build that school literally in the shadow of the cooling towers.
Let's not do it. And let's not hire, who am I looking at? What's the big guy's name that's in all of these movies?
Oh, I know you're talking about.
But let's not hire him. Let's keep him out of the EPA. So, Class of Nukem High for next week.
Yes.
Shout out to the Chicago Indie Critics. You guys are doing wonderful.
Keep our suggestion in mind.
Yes. That we need the windiest film award.
Windiest, the most moving air.
That's right. And we would not be offended if you turned a blind eye to what we're going to cover for the next 5 weeks.
If the Chicago Indie Critics police show up at our door to revoke our membership cards.
Yeah, that's right. So I would understand if the auto-generated Facebook posts for what for each Wednesday's episode gets turned off for October. I would understand.
Yeah.
Just if you didn't want to sully your name with like, oh, look at these guys covered trauma. But for another episode, or social media wise, you guys know where to find us. We're anywhere and everywhere. So no, it's another episode of Let's Talk About Flicks. I'm Haas.
I'm Curtis.
And we'll see you guys next week with Class of Nukem High.